everybody, and welcome to another episode of SportsLine. I'm Brendan Rigney, and alongside of me is Madison Elliott.
We have a great show full of your LaSalle sports, news, previews, and highlights.
So, let's get started with some game recaps. Madison?
This past weekend, the women's track and field team ran in the Lafayette Rider Winter Games. 5 runners stood out and captured some great times. Freshman Sarah Dever ran a 1-minute 400-meter run. Sophomore Kate Conville competed in the 500-meter run, clocking 1 minute and 19 seconds. Freshman Olivia Boyer ran the 3,000-meter run and finished with a time of 11 minutes and 11 seconds. Freshman Paige McDowell ran 2 events. In the 60-meter dash, she ran a time of 26 seconds, and in the 60-meter hurdles, she ran a time of 9 minutes and 52 seconds.
Within the jumping events for the women in that same meet, freshman Amber Jackson registered 10.69 meters in the triple jump. These women represented our school for the weekend, while many of the other women on the team did not race because they have their sights set on the A-10s on the last weekend of February in Rhode Island.
The men's track and field team had a good showing in their final event before the Atlantic 10 Championships, which started on February 22nd. At their final regular season event, Kevin Grasso, Justin Fowler, Avery Hunter-Brooks, and Chris Hunter combined for a time of 3 minutes and 23 seconds in the 4x400-meter relay, which earned them a 3rd place finish. 3 explorers ran the mile, paced by a 23rd place finish by Jimmy Murphy, while Nick Lefavor and Andrew Gorsuch came in 26th and 33rd respectively.
Also for the men, Luke Arbuckle and Terrence Murphy ran side by side, placing 12th and 13th respectively in the 5,000-meter run. Freshman Dan Rosenblatt recorded a time of 2 minutes in the 800-meter run, earning him a 20th place finish. Sophomore Timothy Flanagan ran the top LaSalle time in the 3,000-meter run, clocking a 25th place time of 8 minutes and 53 seconds. The Explorers will compete again when they visit Rhode Island on February 22nd for the A-10 Indoor Track and Field Championships.
The men's swim team headed to Ohio to compete in the Atlantic 10 Championships. As of yesterday's performances, the squad allotted 90 points total, which places them in 3rd place heading into the next leg of competition. The standouts so far include CJ Gimple, who placed 3rd in the 1-meter dive against 7 other athletes. The 800-yard freestyle relay was highlighted by LaSalle's team placing 5th, as they clocked in a time of 6 minutes and 43.04 seconds. The Explorers trail only Massachusetts and St. Bonaventure and hope to jump up a place or 2 in the days ahead.
The women's team has hit some rough waters in their own efforts in the A-10 Championships. Although the blue and gold had a 6th place performance by the 200-yard medley relay team, they have tallied only 44 points and sit in 8th place in the competition. LaSalle faces stiff opponents such as Richmond, which has a commanding lead of 80 points. Despite the bumpy start, they look to turn it up a notch in the upcoming events.
Steve Graham was able to make it to Saturday's men's basketball home team against St. Joe's. Take a look.
Coming off a devastating loss to nationally ranked St. Louis, LaSalle men's basketball could not get the ball rolling against cross-city rival St. Joseph's on Saturday, February 15th. The Explorers started the game strong with 8 unanswered points coming from 2 3-pointers and a layup from senior point guard Tyreek Duren, creating an early deficit. However, the Hawks fought back strong and got some help from LaSalle big man Jarrell Wright, getting in foul trouble early in the first half. St. Joe's went on a 12-point run after Duren's opening 8 points. The Explorers looked to cut the 8-point deficit before the end of the first half with a 5-point run coming from Rohan Brown and DJ Peterson, but the Hawks did not let up, finishing the half with a 9-2 run, going into the locker room with a 10-point lead. The Explorers continue to struggle defensively against the senior Hawks, Langston Galloway and Ronald Roberts. An impressive second half, however, came from Jarrell Wright, including a double-double with 16 points and 15 rebounds, and reaching a milestone of 1,000 career points on a foul shot. However, St. Joseph's went on to win the first of 2 meetings this season, 75-64. The Explorers continue their A-10 play on Saturday, February 22nd, as they travel to Virginia to take on the Richmond Spiders.
Coming off a 3-game losing streak, men's basketball headed out to Dayton, Ohio to take on the Flyers in high hopes for a win in the A-10. After a quick and controlling start, the Explorers could not keep their momentum going. They held a 10-point lead as they pushed midway through the first quarter, but then Dayton came roaring back. Despite the efforts of Jarrell Wright and Tyreek Duren, the Flyers tore apart LaSalle's defense to go on a 20-4 point run. Things were not looking good for the Explorers until they cut the gap to 2 points in the second half, but that was as close as they would get. They finished out the game with a score of 65-53. This marks LaSalle's 4th consecutive loss as they look for someone to lead the team's charge into the last leg of the season. Standouts in this tough loss come from Jarrell Wright, who had 15 points, Duran with 13, and Steve Zach, who snagged 10 rebounds. The Explorers' record drops to 12-13. The team looks to break the slump as they take on Richmond on Saturday, March 1st, on the road.
The women's basketball team fell to Fordham University on February 15th in a heartbreaking 1-point loss. Alicia Copper drained a team-high 15 points for LaSalle, and Shobin Beslow had a great performance as well, earning a double-double with 10 points and 10 rebounds. With the top 2 defensive teams in the Atlantic 10 squaring off, a defensive battle was expected and delivered. The Explorers' defense forced the Rams to miss every 3-point shot they attempted and left their top 2 leading scorers without a single point throughout the game. Well into the second half, the Explorers were ahead by double digits before the Rams started chipping away at the lead. Fordham went on a 7-0 run and found themselves only 6 points behind in the final 2 minutes of play. The Rams outscored the Explorers 8-2 and won the game on a pair of free throws with 12 seconds remaining to seal the win from the Explorers, 43-42.
On Wednesday, February 19th, the women took on the Dayton Flyers at home in the Tom Golo Arena. SportsLine hotshot Jacob Smolinski was there to cover the game.
If you would have seen the opening 10 minutes of the women's basketball game against Dayton on Wednesday, February 19th, you would have witnessed the Explorers in complete control, looking like a seasoned nationally ranked team. Senior Alicia Cropper drained 16 points in the first half alone, while LaSalle's defense shut down the Flyers with a vengeance. Then, something snapped. Dayton pushed back from a 12-point deficit and started picking up momentum, and they never stopped. The Explorers seemed to get complacent, and Dayton never gave up and were looking for a win. The two teams went into the half with the Flyers leading with a score of 41-34, and from then on, LaSalle just couldn't break through. As the final minutes wound down and the buzzer sounded, the Explorers lost 84-69. This was a tough loss for the LaSalle ladies and frustrating as well. With Cropper having a huge game with 24 points, the rest of the team just couldn't put up the numbers to support her. Micaiah Owens had 14 points and Austin had 10. With the lack of rebounds and sloppy turnovers, this was a depressing departure from the first half of the game. Not the best showing for the women, and this brings their record to 12-14. They get the rest through the weekend and hopefully bring home a win from Pittsburgh against Duquesne. This is Jake Smolinski reporting from the field. Thank you.
Women's lacrosse opened the 2014 season with a beatdown on Long Island University, Brooklyn on Monday, February 17th. The Explorers scored 6 unanswered goals and never looked back as they went on to win 17-5. The freezing weather had no effect on the electric offense as junior Caitlin Brostrand notched 6 points, finding the back of the net 5 times and passing for 1 assist. Sophomore Caitlin Fay and junior Kelly Furman also recorded hat tricks for the Explorers. Freshman goalie Gabby Antonelli made a statement in her first collegiate start as she recovered 7 saves.
LaSalle also traveled up Broad Street on Wednesday, February 19th, to take on the Temple Owls. Leading the way with hat tricks for the Explorers was junior midfielders Caitlin Brostrand and Claire Andrews. Junior Erin McCabe also found the back of the net, while freshman goalie Gabby Antonelli started again for the Explorers and recorded an impressive 9 saves to help LaSalle win 7-4 to open up the season 2-0. They travel next to Central Connecticut State on Saturday, February 22nd, to square up with the Blue Devils.
The men's basketball team got away from the snow as they played a 3-game series last week against the Campbell Camels in Buies Creek, North Carolina. Unfortunately, the Explorers dropped the 3-game series starting with a 9-2 loss in the afternoon on February 14th. Sean O'Neill was on the hill and allowed 5 runs with 3 earned in 4 innings of play. The Explorers finally got on the board in the 7th inning thanks to Cameron Johnson grounder, leading to a double play that propelled George Smith home. The Explorers finished the day with 6 hits, with their last run crossing the plate in the 8th inning.
The Explorers had a doubleheader the very next day. In the first game, the Camels scored the first 9 runs in the first 6 innings of play. Shane Holman started for the Explorers and allowed 4 earned runs in 3.5 innings of work. The Explorers finally scored in the 4th inning, but it was too late for them to come back, and they fell 9-2. The third game of the series started off with a George Smith fly ball, bringing Jack Meeker across the plate, scoring the first run of the game. But unfortunately, the Camels finished off the weekend on top, 10-6.
Now we are going to take a quick break, but when we get back, Steve Graham will be interviewing a special member of LaSalle Sports. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Nicole Malachowski, a U.S. Air Force Fighter Squadron Commander and the first woman pilot with the United States Air Force Aerial Demonstration Team. My fellow airmen and I know that each of us plays a huge part in our victories, whether in the air or on the ground. We couldn't accomplish our mission without using everyone's skills to reach our goals. Embracing our differences and working together is also what has made America strong. Thank you for your support, and remember, our strength lies in our diversity. This message brought to you by the United States Air Force.
Hello and welcome to another interview on SportsLine. I'm Steve Graham, joined here today with the drummer of the LaSalle Pep Band, Dean Welsh. Dean is a sophomore here who's a communication major and minoring in film, I believe. Dean, thanks for coming on today.
No problem.
So can you tell us a little bit how you got involved with the Pep Band here?
Well, I started freshman year. Once I got in, I knew I wanted to do something at LaSalle. Wasn't sure what, but I knew that I knew how to play music, so I went right to that.
Did you do any band in high school or just?
No, I didn't do any extracurricular activities at all in high school. I just taught myself how to play multiple instruments, and then I just brought it to college, I guess.
So you just decided to play drums, or do you play other instruments?
I played drums first. That's what I first learned. From there, I learned the guitar as well, a little bit piano, and then I bought a flute and some other things, but mainly I'd like to play the drums the most.
Okay, and we always see the Pep Band at the men's basketball games. Is there any other sports that the band wants to get out to? Or
well, we're also the jazz band as well. We're not just a Pep Band. So we do other shows around different schools. We recently did a Christmas show around Christmas time at a school around the block. But we do things like that as well. And we definitely would like to have more shows, and we would definitely like to go to more games, but it would mean that the team has to do a little bit better. And also, if the women team makes any kind of tournament, we go to that as well.
Very cool. And as everyone knows, last year LaSalle made the miraculous Sweet 16 run, and the Pep Band followed. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience there? It
was a lot of fun. I got to say, going to Kansas City was awesome. We were there for an entire weekend. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of good food, heard a lot of good music, and watched a lot of good basketball. Went to LA, and we're really excited. Just wish we could have stayed a little bit longer. Yeah. That's all.
That was a quick game, but
yeah.
Kansas City, that Ole Miss game when Tyrone threw up the
amazing. Amazing.
But with the Pep Band, you guys play, I hear Lady Gaga sometimes, some Rocky themes. What's your favorite song to play with?
I definitely like to play the older songs the most, but my favorite is the Rocky theme. It's called Gonna Fly Now. I like to play that when we play teams that aren't really from Philadelphia. If we play Temple or something, that's one thing, but playing teams from St. Louis or something, it's cool to just, especially if you're at a tournament, you're not in Philadelphia, you play that song, people know,
people knew
where you're from, and it's cool. I like it.
Very cool. And what was your favorite experience? Can you tell us about one experience during that Sweet 16 run that you'll remember for a long time with the band?
Definitely was the first game, because we didn't think we were going to win at all. We didn't think we were going to win anything. And what happened was the night prior to that, me and the band, the entire band, went to this Chinese restaurant, and I had a fortune cookie, and inside it said, "Surround yourself with the color purple. It will bring you good luck." And what do I know? I go to the first game, and the other team's colors are purple, and all their fans are around us. There's purple everywhere, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is purple." I don't know what this means, but we ended up winning, and it's pretty amazing. So it was cool. I'm always going to remember that.
The fortune cookie was right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so here's a question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I'm not sure yet. Hopefully having a job, hopefully playing more music. If not, I could still be going to school in 5 years. I don't really know what I'm going to do, but I think that's the best part about it.
Okay. And with your communication major, do you see anything with that? I know you mentioned that you're in the film.
Yeah, I'm in the film definitely, but my passion is definitely music, and with that I like to do some radio work. I'm not sure if I want to be behind the microphone or doing something else, but I definitely want to be around music in any way possible.
Very cool. So speaking of movies, we have a little tradition here at SportsLine where we ask the person we're interviewing, what is your favorite Disney movie?
Definitely Toy Story. That's what I grew up with.
Toy Story fan?
Yeah.
How sad were you at that Toy Story 3 ending?
I mean, it's sad, but it's all in, for me at least, you know, being older, I guess, and not a woman. I thought it was cool.
All right, cool. Well, that's all we have time for today. We thank you, Dean, for joining us in this interview, and we'll be back right after this break.
The environment is my passion. Every day, I live for the outdoors and all of its challenges. That's why I enlisted in the Coast Guard. Now, I serve to protect the environment and defend my country. It's like I was born for this.
Were you born ready for a greater challenge? Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
They are words no woman ever wants to hear.
He said, "I'm sorry to tell you, but you have breast cancer." I was speechless.
A diagnosis of breast cancer changes your life forever.
She told me I needed a mastectomy. I was going to lose my breast. I was scared, absolutely in shock.
But you need to know that you're not alone. There are teams of medical professionals, support groups, and therapists who are all there to help you get through your treatment, and those who can help you plan for life after cancer.
Consult with a plastic surgeon to learn more about your breast reconstruction options.
Breast reconstruction made me feel like me again.
Cancer took my breasts, but my plastic surgeon gave them back.
Before you undergo surgery for breast cancer, get the facts. Make sure you know your breast reconstruction options. For more information, visit broaddayusa.org.
Now let's get into exploring headlines. And they say that grades come first for students, including athletes. Amidst its promising season, the men's cross-country team was named All-Academic by the USTFCCCA for the team's overall GPA of 3.02. Of the team, 8 runners made it on the A10's honor roll. LaSalle was not alone in the accolades, as 8 other programs made the list, including Temple, St. Joe's, and Villanova. This is the 4th straight year the team has achieved this feat, and we here at SportsLine hope to see the streak continue.
Not to be outdone, the women's cross-country team was also named All-Academic by the USTFCCCA. 9 of the team's members made it on the A10 honor roll, undoubtedly helping them achieve an overall GPA of 3.24. This is the 4th straight year that the team has received the nod, and the 11th time since the honors were started. Among the 231 programs that made the list, the Explorers are exceptional due to having both the men's and women's teams make the cut.
To top off our exploring headlines for the week, men's basketball coach Dr. John Giannini was selected in the top 100 of college basketball by College Insider, but not for what you might think. Coach G was selected in the top 100 sexiest of college basketball. There is actually even a video of Coach talking about the honor in collegeinsider.com. If you have not seen it, definitely check it out. Brendan, I know you've seen the video and heard about this. What was your reaction when you saw it?
Well, it's nice to see that Coach G is finally getting some recognition for his off-the-court antics.
Yes.
He ages like a fine wine, obviously. Hundreds of people were in this, and he's on the list.
And he's on the list.
Sexiest.
That's impressive. That's out of the whole nation, correct?
That's correct.
And he made that. He made a comment in the video for those of you who haven't seen it that there was fashion percentage included in that statistic. So he's also got really good fashion, which speaks for the people here at LaSalle. I would say we have pretty good fashion sense.
It does reflect very well on LaSalle. I mean, I think it's nice to see that he's finally getting recognized for just that air that he carries on and off the court. That's high praise. All right, well, we're going to take another quick break, but when we get back, Eric Mullen will tell you which game to watch during the upcoming week in the marquee matchup. Stay tuned.
They said I would die.
My doctor told me I had ALS.
They said I wouldn't live to see my kids grow up.
But their doctors were wrong. Multifocal motor neuropathy, referred to as MMN, is a rare disorder that progressively weakens muscles in the extremities and is often mistaken for other serious neuropathies, as well as the ultimately fatal condition known as ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease. But unlike those disorders, MMN affects only lower motor nerves and has no sensory involvement. Symptoms tend to be asymmetric and characterized by weakness, cramping, twitching, or muscle atrophy, usually beginning in the hands. Disease progression depends on the length of time the patient remains without the correct MMN diagnosis. With early diagnosis and treatment, most MMN patients continue doing the things they enjoy.
Cooking.
Gardening.
Spending time with my family.
For more information, please visit these websites.
Training is about more than muscle. It's about inner strength. So I push myself. That's why I serve in the United States Coast Guard. I train with the best, a team that shares my drive and commitment. We collect intelligence, guard our shores against drug smugglers, and keep our waterways safe, because our nation expects more.
If you expect more, maybe you were born ready. Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Marquee Matchup. I'm Eric Mullen. This upcoming Friday, February 21st, the Explorers baseball team heads down to North Carolina for a non-conference showdown with the Blue Devils of Duke University. This will be the first game of the Blue Devil Classic Tournament. After dropping their first 3 games of the season in a sweep to Campbell University, the Explorers will look to pick up their first win of the young season. Their first win will not be easy, as a tough opponent in Duke stands in their way. The last time these two clubs faced off was in 2011, where the Blue Devils swept a 3-game set from the Explorers. Both clubs are coming off of subpar 2013 seasons. Duke finished last season with a record of 26-29, placing them second to last in the ACC. The Explorers are also coming off an inconsistent 2013 season in which they finished with a record of 24-29. Although the Blue Devils struggled last season, they return a very talented and experienced club. To pick up a victory on Friday, a couple of players in the middle of the Explorers lineup will need to have big days at the plate. Cameron Johnson, a junior transfer, was a Division II All-American last season at Lackawanna College. 3 games into this season, Johnson is showing that he can compete at the Division I level. In the first 3 games, Johnson leads the team in at-bats, hits, and total bases. He is also a very strong defender as a corner infielder. Sitting at 3rd in the batting order, his hitting ability will be needed against a strong Duke pitching staff. Mark Williams, a junior infielder, led the Explorers in doubles, runs batted in, and slugging percentage last season. He also posted a perfect fielding percentage. Although he has struggled at the plate to start the season, look for Williams' power numbers to increase as the season progresses. Hitting behind Cameron Johnson, Williams' clutch hitting with runners on base will be needed against the Duke Blue Devils. Now here are the keys to the game. If the Explorers want to get into the win column for the first time on Friday, they will need improvement from their pitching staff. Through the first 3 games, the Explorers are allowing an average of 9.3 runs per game. They will face a high-powered Duke offense led by senior infielder Jordan Betts. Betts is enjoying a lot of early season success while leading the Blue Devils in batting average, hits, runs batted in, total bases, and slugging percentage. If the pitching staff of the Explorers can shut down Betts at the plate, then it will make it very difficult for the Blue Devils to generate offense. Along with a strong performance from the pitching staff, the Explorers will need the top of their order to reach base. It will be very important for Kevin Barrett and Justin Kornblatt to get on base to give Cameron Johnson and Mark Williams a chance to drive them in. If the Explorers can get runners on base for their strongest hitters, then they could be looking at a very good day at the plate against Duke. Coach Mike Lake wanted consistency from his club this season, and what better way to gain some consistency than a road win against the Duke Blue Devils. This is a chance for LaSalle to start their winning ways and pick up a huge non-conference victory. Go blue and gold. Thanks for watching Marquee Matchup. I'm Eric Mullen.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Nicole Malachowski, a U.S. Air Force Fighter Squadron Commander and the first woman pilot with the United States Air Force Aerial Demonstration Team. My fellow airmen and I know that each of us plays a huge part in our victories, whether in the air or on the ground. We couldn't accomplish our mission without using everyone's skills to reach our goals. Embracing our differences and working together is also what has made America strong. Thank you for your support, and remember, our strength lies in our diversity. This message brought to you by the United States Air Force.
A diagnosis of breast cancer changes your life forever.
She told me I needed a mastectomy. I was scared, absolutely in shock.
But you need to know that you're not alone. There are teams of medical professionals, support groups, and therapists, and those who can help you plan for life after cancer. Before you undergo surgery for breast cancer, get the facts. Make sure you know your breast reconstruction options. For more information, visit broaddayusa.org.
The environment is my passion. Every day, I live for the outdoors and all of its challenges. That's why I enlisted in the Coast Guard. Now, I serve to protect the environment and defend my country. It's like I was born for this.
Were you born ready for a greater challenge? Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
Thanks, Eric. Be sure to keep up with this weekend's sporting events by following us on Twitter at SportsLine LTV. We post game updates and sneak peeks into the upcoming show.
Also, check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV. We welcome you to send us your thoughts and suggestions about the show on either website.
For Madison and our entire SportsLine team, I'm Brendan Rigney, and we'll see you at the game.